So hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the new day and new vlog. Today we have with us Muntasi Returns, and we thought that today we'll make a video about safety and reliability of embedded systems. You must have seen that we have discussed some of the subjects that we took, and we are trying to discuss them in order. So the next exam that we gave in our first semester was safety and reliability of embedded system after the product line engineering. So if we start first of all with the subject overview part.
So subject overview, this is a 4 credit subject.
Yes.
It is taken by Professor Legasmer.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen our QMK video, you can watch that.
Yeah.
So this is another course given by Professor Legasmer,
Legasmer.
and I would suggest any person who is doing major in software engineering, you should take it.
Yeah.
Also, there are a lot of students. If you go to class, there are a lot of students. Because along with computer science students, CVT people also takes these subjects.
Correct.
So there are a lot of students, and the subjects, there are theory, there are mathematics.
Yeah.
And this lecture as a 4 credit subject, it has the same part like after 2 lecture there is exercise usually. I believe there are 5 or 6 exercise. But
I think one of the point was that one of the last exercises was indirectly told that will not come in the exam.
correct.
Somehow it was indirectly told.
Yeah,
And
so
one more thing was
there
first
are-
exercise was also common.
Yeah, first exercise is also common. It
Yeah.
was some theory that was in both cases.
QMQA, yeah, it's
Yeah.
related. The safety points or the fill in the blanks or the
The
true and
theory.
false
Yeah,
were quite
and
similar.
Also in one exercise of the between KMK and SRES first exercise, there are one, I think in KMK there are true false.
Yeah.
That is not was in SRES.
Yeah.
So little bit question, but almost everything was the same.
Yeah, and I think fill in the blanks or true or false. I think true or false were
Yeah, true or
similar, and
false.
definitions were
something like that. There
yeah.
were some additional points.
Yeah.
But the rest of the exercise was same. That was theoretical.
Yeah.
But rest of the exercise of this SRES was, I would say, practical, or you have to do some mathematics, you have to do
Yeah.
some graph.
Yeah.
And the lectures as well, the professor was explaining. We had you have to use that diagram
Yeah.
that we are using in VRS.
Yeah.
So that's one.
So and one of the techniques was SNF form.
SNF.
So Shannon normal form.
Shannon normal
So
form,
by
yeah.
that we had to solve one of the questions. It deduced the formula. Now the thing is, for SRES, I think it is also advisable from our side, if I think from our perspective, that exercises are equally important.
Correct.
Because some of the questions were quite similar to the exercises that came in the exam. Now talking about the Shannon normal form, yes, there were extra questions provided by the supervisor to us for the practice, so that how we use the Shannon normal form, because I think that was also quite one of the important topics. Also, there are some topics where you have to draw Markov model.
Markov
So
model.
Markov modeling
There are
was
various state you have to draw.
yeah, and some of the questions I would say came from the previous year as well. So I think the previous year questions are also equally important, and because we saw that some of the questions, the pattern were similar to those questions. Now, one of the differences that we saw was in QMQ as well and in SRES as well is about the first exercise. The first exercise, true or false. There were true or false which were different in our exams, right? And also in the paper as well, there was negative marking. I think this was a point we
didn't
highlight in QMQA, but there is negative marking. At least there was negative marking at least in our time for each of the wrong
It
answers.
depends on the question pattern. For some question there were negative marking, for
Yeah.
some there was not.
Yeah.
So it can happen, but if there is negative marking, it will be mentioned in the top.
In the
that
top.
there is negative marking.
Yeah, yeah.
But only for the true false.
Only
it
for the
can
true or
be
false,
case.
yeah.
Other questions like Markov model or SNF form, whatever you are drawing,
Yeah.
there is no negative marking usually.
Correct. And also I think it's also good if you go to the lectures for this subject, because Professor Legasmar teaches very in a very excellent manner.
I would say he is a very good teacher.
Yeah.
Also, his lectures is, I would say, like quite energetic, not
Yeah.
boring, because sometimes he makes fun, sometimes he
Yeah.
talks fun in a funny way. So that
And
is
he's
quite
well
entertaining.
experienced as well, I guess. So,
Yeah. So
and,
that's-
and the thing is that I think this course is also common for CVT people. So some of our friends who were in CVT, they also were part of this course. So you can find people from both of the branches here, and when they discuss the exercises, I think it is also mentioned that if you first solve by yourself and then you go to the exercise session.
This is usually same for
Yeah.
all. So try to solve the exercises at first on your
Yeah.
own, then try go to the exercise sessions.
Yeah.
Now regarding the rules and regulation, I would say attending the lecture classes are not mandatory.
Yeah.
Attending the exercises are not mandatory as well.
Correct.
But I would suggest you should attend both if you want to have a good grasp of the subject. Because exercises, just like he said, exercises are important, and if you attend the classes as well, all the lecture classes, you will have a good grasp of what is being taught, and then you can solve the exercises.
Correct.
And if you can solve the exercises quite good, well, you can do well in the exam.
Yeah, and I think this was quite similar rule in the QMQA as well. Now jumping to the exam overview, like how was the exam pattern, how the exam came.
So for the exam, similar to QMK, there is cheat sheet.
Yeah,
You can
cheat
take-
sheet is allowed.
We can take one page that you can write anything on both sides.
Yeah.
One page offset paper. I think in this exam as well, our cheat sheet didn't. We did not use that much because many of them were like practical based,
Yeah,
based
but-
on the exercises.
Yeah.
And for the preparation, we solved mostly previous year exam questions.
Correct.
And exercises.
And exercise. And also you remember some of the theory questions we used from cheat sheet, one or some of the
Some of
question
the
marks.
question. I think one or two question was
Yeah,
from the cheat sheet.
yeah.
You can see the cheat sheet and
And
then
you can just directly
answer it.
answer them, and you can find those questions even in the previous exams as well.
Correct.
So that one can use. Also, one of the important point was when you will see when we saw the previous year questions, then sometimes for SNF form there were very different type of questions. In our exam, I would say comparatively an easier question came. Right?
I
A
would say-
convenient question
I would
came
say- I
for
would say-
SNF form
I would say.
because I think it
There
was
are
quite
quite
direct.
variation. There are
They-
quite variation.
yeah.
You can have
Yeah.
very different variations.
Yeah.
But yeah, the exam pattern, I would not say that it is fixed.
Yeah.
This question will always come.
Yeah.
There are various questions. There are different kind of complexity.
Yeah.
Prepare for the previous exam question as
Yeah.
well as the SRES. I think you will be good to
Yeah,
go.
and easier in a sense that it's more convenient, it's more direct. It means that if you once you will solve SNF forms, then sometimes it might happen that it will take some time, but if you compare the time, then in that sense it's easier. Although the questions which are taking more time, they are also I think convenient based on your practice. So I think if you practice, then everything is manageable or convenient. But if you record the time, then the question that came in our exam took comparatively less time. In that sense it's easier. And also I think for our paper we somehow, because that was the reaction of some of the people, that SRES came in this way, because for some of the students it was finished way before the
that.
time. So it was, I think the time was good enough.
Time
for,
was good enough. I would say do check your time and keep a good timing, because for QMQ, as we said, it came as a surprise for us that we had maybe less of time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in SRES
yeah.
we are prepared.
Yeah.
We are very much prepared. We made our time. Okay, for
Yeah.
this mark we will divide this much time and
Yeah.
only use that much of time.
Yeah.
So actually we followed that time period and
Yeah.
we did good for SRES, at least while answering the questions.
Yeah.
I think we finished on time.
We finished on time. I think some of the people finished on time only. And I think this is a random thing, and it depends on the professor and the year the paper is coming.
Correct.
Because for QMQA, because when some people solve previous year questions, then I think for QMQA it was a surprise that it was very much
This
time
was-
restricted.
yeah, yeah.
And it was a surprise in SRES that it was finished well within the time. So I think it depends. If you go with zero expectations, then I think it's good. If you practice, if one
Just make
practice
sure
the-
your time is properly divided,
Yeah.
and then you can do it
yeah,
easily.
because
That's the best solution.
yeah,
I
because
think.
it's a surprise. So I think it's good enough not to keep any expectation and just prepare as much as we can, and prepare the previous year questions and the exercises.
Sessions.
And
These
as
two
he
are
said, not mandatory to attend, but it is advisable to attend, because then you can clarify your doubts. Also, if you are still facing some problems, you can even mail the doubts to the supervisors.
Correct.
And talking about now our experience of the exam.
I would say quite good.
Yeah.
I was very much satisfied after giving the exam.
Yeah.
With our preparation of previous year exam question and the exercises, after giving the exam, I was like, okay, this is a good subject.
Yeah.
I get it good. I got the grasp. I could answer the
Yeah.
questions. So it was quite
Yeah.
nice, and I would not say it requires a lot of memorizing, because there are cheat sheet.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not, you have to memorize it.
Yeah.
There are some questions, the mathematical questions, so you can use your brain and solve it. If you can solve it, you will really feel good about it.
Correct. So I think it's a good subject to try if you're taking software engineering, even as your major or as your minor. But I think it's a good subject. You can try. You can at least try it, and attending the classes, and rest it's upon you, and it's on person to person to decide the subjects. But this was our experience, and it was a good subject. And yes, we did that subject as well. Quite similar to QMQA. Pattern was quite similar. The professor was same, Professor Legasmeyer for us, and some of the supervisors were similar. So I think if you're taking even software as a major, then I think one can take that subject
Just
as well.
one point to mention here: this subject is only offered in winter.
Yeah.
So if you're coming in your winter or in the next winter you are here, so you can take this subject.
Correct. So that's it, and we'll try to also put the link of the cheat sheet, one of the cheat sheet that we referred to, and you can also refer to that. And also,
I believe in Caillou as well there are
You-
3
yeah.
or 4 cheat sheet.
Yeah.
You can download them. You can figure out which one you like most.
Yeah.
Or you can make your own cheat sheet.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah, and what is cheat sheet, what is Sky, I'll put the videos link in the description as well, so you can go through those videos as well. And I think that's it for this vlog. Thank you, Munsir, for sharing your insights.
Always welcome.
And rest, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao. Namaste.
Assalamu alaikum.
Chalo. See you in new day, new vlog.